Put somebody new on here.
Yes.
Hey.
Can you hear us? Can you see us? Are we coming through?
You're coming through just fine.
Hey,
Hi,
awesome.
Steve. Hey, Nat.
Stephen is here. Nat is here.
Hello.
Rodney is here. This is
Hello,
great.
Rodney. We've not met Rodney before. Rodney's popped in.
Yeah.
Hey, Gene.
Yes. Love it. Gene, what's up? Here we go.
Where's Vincent? Is he recovering or is he joining us today?
He's here. I think Vincent might be recovering.
Okay. How's everybody's week?
Good so far.
Yeah. Gene, do you have a new look?
No, I'm his partner or his helper, so
I was gonna say,
just a second.
I was gonna say you have a bald head happening, but get
Yeah,
a whole
he
look
got a
happening.
haircut.
Like
I
completely
trust.
new look.
Oh, that's awesome. I like the get up. What is that you got on right there?
I had back surgery 2.5 weeks ago, so I'm having to wear a brace.
Oh,
Sand.
thank goodness for modern technology, man. That's
Oh my
good.
gosh, it's amazing, that's for sure. But yeah,
Oh,
I'm doing
that's
great, so.
awesome.
We're glad you're
Awesome.
glad you're back.
Thank you. Awesome. All right. So we're ready to get into some AI and make some things better, make you faster, stronger. If any of you remember the $6 million man, you remember him? That's going to be you guys, Lee Majors, all of you.
And the bionic woman.
The bionic woman too. That's Flo. All right. Let's make it happen.
Hey Rodney, can you hop on camera and say hi to us?
Rodney's part of my team.
Hey, Rodney.
Hey Rodney.
What's up?
How you
How are you?
doing?
Nice to see you.
Flo's team. So we know you're strong and ready to go. Let's do it. Today is going to be super awesome because it's
Heck
one of
yeah.
our favorite things,
Yes.
which is marketing.
Yes.
How do you make people know that you are here, that you know what you're talking about, and that you've got what they need, and that they can trust that you're going to be able to help them and actually be able to help them? Because the best way to help someone is to by actually helping them. Actually helping them. And that's what's so beautiful about AI. It makes that part, the researching and the finding out and the communicating it and the giving value is just infinite what you can do. And so Tracy, take it away. She is the marketing guru. She has been in real estate marketing forever. She's amazing at it, really, really good, and can get you hyper specific on what you specifically need to do for your marketing. She's like the female Rain Man of marketing.
Thank you for that. I think
That is
thank you.
So we're gonna get that. So if you have any questions that are specific to you, we can put her on the spot and get her to help you with some of that. But take it away.
Thank you. I'm still stuck that I'm Rain Man. Still stuck on that. So one of the things I love about real estate, when you're in real estate, you don't have one role, right? We, as a real estate agent, whether you're a broker, team leader, or an individual agent, you have to wear multiple hats and you have to learn marketing, because if you don't market yourself, you don't, no one's going to come to you. If you're good at what you do, you can get word of mouth and referrals, right? But in this day and age, when everybody, and unfortunately their mama, is a realtor, you really have to make sure that you're honing in on your message, that you're where people can find you, and that you are reaching out with quality content, not just some of these cookie cutter things that we see and online, right? I don't know, 15 years ago, and they're still around. There was a company that would tell you, as a real estate agent, we can send out cards, postcards. But those postcards are so generic, like, okay, here's an occasional recipe here, here's that. And we get, as consumers, we become flooded with so much content in our mailboxes, in our inboxes, phones, everywhere you go, there's someone, trying to say, hey, I'm here, buy from me. So it's really important that what you put out as a real estate group, as a real estate agent, as a real estate team, that is solid, that you stand out as something different. And that's what we're going to talk about today using Scout AI. Before we go into that, last week, we talked about prospecting and we did Outreach Pro. Did anyone, hygiene, did anyone have a chance to use that this, during the week? Any experiences? Did you all have a chance to work on that? And if you're talking to me, you're all on mute.
I did a little bit, I played with the name that we were talking about on the last one. And
Mhm.
it kept throwing up generic names that were so too similar to others in the market.
Uh-huh.
So we played around with it and kind of we didn't come up with an exact, but we talked about something more important to us was like legacy land brokers rather than
Nice,
Nice.
nice.
because that's what so many people are looking at is they're looking at in farmland especially they're looking at preserving their legacy.
Mm-hmm. That's really good.
That's really good. And the
That's really good.
alliteration is strong too. The
Mhm.
L and that L, that legacy letter
Yeah.
land brokers, that's
Yeah,
really
that's
strong.
really good. When you were getting the generic names, I was too close to other people, so I was probably pulling that generic because I think we started that conversation with asking for SEO type of words, so that's probably why it was pulling very generic. Did you say at any point, these are all too generic for what we're looking for and we'd like something more custom?
I did not do that.
Okay, when you all are working with this, and we'll get a chance to practice a bit today with Scout AI, we're going to focus more on how to get the results that you want from it than the actual tool of what it does. Okay, so when it comes to talking to AI, and Ross, I'm sure has more to say on this than I do. It's really important to talk just like you're talking to a person who maybe you hired or contracted to do something for you without having to think about that person's feelings or without having to think that, okay, I'm talking too long, or I'm going to confuse them, where you can literally dialogue back and forth until you get the results that you want. And when, what we do, we've been doing this for so long, working with, we have a design team. We worked before AI came out, we had a writing team, design team, we have videographers, photographers, like we got the whole shebang, right? So we've been, for lack of a better word, telling people what to do or telling people what we want, like the results that we need to get out of it for a very long time.
The vendors and such.
So for us, it's second nature. Like we know exactly what we want. We won't know how it needs to be done. So maybe I started or Ross started and we pass it off. So for us, it's second nature to tell someone what we need to have done. You have to treat that. You have to take that same position when you're working with AI, trying to get your results for whatever it is you need.
Yeah, and here's another key too. Like it all comes down to prompt engineering. That means you're crafting some instructions that you give it. And some of the old school techniques still work. And when I say old school, like things that how it started from 3 years ago, 4 years ago, it was all just prompt engineering. It was very technical, but some of those things still work. Like if you give it a specific task and you say, could you answer this for me? As if you were an expert with 25 years experience in naming top brands in areas, or you give it a role. Can you do this like a top high-end ad agency would do it? Or and then that's the biggest thing when you assign it a role that it would do and make it high up there. And then the follow-up is always going to be key. And that's where Tracy's talking about whatever you're feeling after it gives you something, then you relate that to it and you say, hey, I don't know if this will work because of XYZ. And that's where, like I was speaking about the last time about context, it's really gone from prompt engineering to context engineering. So if you say, hey, in your place there, Flo, if you were to say, this sounds too generic, like a lot of the people that are around here, what kind of questions do you need to ask me to help me better to get a better result? right? And then it will come back and start asking you certain things like, what are your values? What are you know, whatever it comes back with to help it to help you. So that's another good follow-up that you might want to remember. Say, what kind of information can I give you to help you give me better answers? What kind of context do you need about this situation to really give me the answers that are going to really help my business? Because if you ask it what kind of context that it needs, then it's going to give it to you, just like the best consultants do. That's what really good consultants do, is they come in and they just say, what's the context that we're looking at here? What's important? What's the value? Where are you trying to go? Because a lot of times you can't get the right answer because you can't, like, it's kind of like eating food, right? You can tell I love food because I always got food analogies. But if you were to say, I like spicy food, that changes everything for how a person would serve you, how your chef would cook the food. But if you just say, I don't like that, I don't like that. If you start to say, hey, I really like sweet, then it's going to move in that direction. So if you're really going after farm and land, like if you really want like high value clients, then you say, I like this, but I just need to let you know that I'm really trying to go after the large acreage that's around my area. So anything that you have that can help me to go after that, or I want these real legacy landowners are really important to me, or I don't really want to do the institutional stuff. I want to do the stuff to more the glamping and whatever it is that you really want your end result to be. Because we talked before about how important it was to understand your ideal client persona, and that's important, super important. But what I believe is more important is, what do you actually want? What is your ideal situation that you would be happy and full of joy to work with? Who are those people that you would just, because life is hard and work is hard enough, but if you just hone in first, I want to enter this AI thing because it's such a huge advantage, but I want to talk about what I actually want and what makes me super happy. And then you put that focus onto that when you're dealing with your AI, so that what you get in is actually what you want. I feel like that is so much more important. And then from that perspective, AI is going to give you the structural uh, situation that you need, and the ability to communicate, and the research and the data that will support you getting your place of joy and your place of happiness. So that's super important, being clear on what is your ideal, maybe one, two, and three. Maybe you can't get one because of the market, but you can get two, and make AI that type of guide you in that direction. So as you're getting business, you'll actually want to work it and be happy working it. One of my favorite things is awkward silences. I sometimes just like to sit in them, you know. You know what I'm talking about, Rodney. You look like that person that likes that kind of thing. All right, let's go on. Tracy Jones.
Okay, so one of my favorite times, this is one of my favorite times of the year is coming up, and that is Q4. Q4 is game time. That's when corporations are making their decisions. That's when
Families,
families are making their decisions,
Economists,
investors.
landowners.
What am I doing for 2026? And the whole idea that you all are here on this call and you all are gearing up. You all are ahead
Yeah.
of the game. Every year we get a bunch of calls during fourth quarter and normally at the end of fourth quarter, like Christmas. Yeah, I want to be ready for 2026. And it's like it's a little bit too late to be ready for 2026, in December. And then in January, tons of people come in because I need to get ready. I need to get ready. And so what I love about you guys is that you all are on an AI class as 30 quarters ending. So you all are going to be totally ready for 2026. All right. Let's talk about Scout AI.
All right, it's time to get the hands to work in here.
If you all tried to log in, we had a site upgrade yesterday that went a little bit wrong. So if you all are all going to get new invites or let me rephrase that. Whatever email you used to sign up with, we're going to set up a new login for you, and then your password will be Landverse AI. We'll send you an email letting you know that. So if you want to try logging in, you may have an issue, or if you run into any issues, just know that we're aware of it, and we'll be sending that out this afternoon. But for right now, you can get into all the tools. We made sure it was open for you all to be able to follow along if you need to on this call. So let's see. Give me 1 second here. While we're doing this, anybody, if you have a new listing coming in, or if you have a new listing that you need to process and haven't done the listing description, why don't you pull that info out so you can be our volunteer for the first thing.
Mhm.
I'm working with yours. There's something that needs to do with this,
Sure.
right now we're sharing the Zoom call screen, but for some reason it's not allowing me to minimize.
Here we go. Yep, there we go.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, we have a new listing that we're working on.
Awesome.
Awesome. And hi, Mindy.
Sorry, I'm late.
No, so you're
Oh, you're
fine.
fine. We're also working on a LinkedIn playbook that's going to be uploaded here in the next few days. That's going to give you strategies for LinkedIn because that's really hot right now, especially when you got good marketing materials. So if any of you are on LinkedIn, it's going to be really good for you.
Is anybody, what are you all using for social?
Yeah, what's your number one social, would you say? If you're on Facebook, give me a hand raise. 1, 2, 3. Okay. How about LinkedIn? Are you strong on LinkedIn? Anybody? Yep. We got some LinkedIn folks. Oh, y'all are doing it. How about TikTok? Any TikTokers out there? No.
No, TikTok.
That's it. I'm with you there. Well, that's good. For the institutional buyers and the those ones, LinkedIn is fantastic. And for most people are going to be your Facebook, so that's really good. But yeah, I'll put together a Facebook playbook as well. I'll do that.
And while we're on that subject, what's the hardest? And for this one, I'd love for you all to unmute and each person give us an answer, maybe starting with Gene and Vincent. What's your easiest social media platform, your go-to that you like? And then what's one that you would like to be on or like to be stronger in, but you're not?
And if you want to make it to marketing, like what is working for you and what would you like to possibly see work for you? Because we want to be able to serve you.
It's hard to tell what's actually working. Even with-
I'm sorry, one more time, Gene?
I said it's hard to tell what's actually working the best, but we do a lot of Facebook. Our agents also have their own pages that reflect back to Crookshank Realty. So they post their stuff and I share their stuff and they share our stuff. And so we got pretty good coverage there. But as far as analytics, it's almost impossible to tell because people will see them, but you don't know who or what. They don't click. It's hard to say. It's just keeping it all out there in front of them. And been doing Instagram also. And then we've been doing LinkedIn forever, so I think it's just hard to tell. It's just, the
Yeah.
analytics are almost impossible to capture properly, you know.
Right.
You can
Do
see
you
how
have
much you get, but you can't tell. There's no feedback. People just don't do that anymore.
Right. Do you have like a where they can opt in for an email list? Do you have like an email list of people that you communicate with?
We have our own database for that we do, but not something where they actually opt in for it.
Not on Facebook.
Not on Facebook, no.
Okay. Have you thought about creating different white papers or things like that that would get people onto a list and give them some something they could use right then?
I think we've thought about it, but we haven't actually instituted something like that. And it'd be nice to find out how to do that, the best way to do that.
Yeah, AI is amazing for that, especially if you're clear on your ideal customer persona and avatar. Right now, based on I'm ridiculous with studying this stuff. Every morning I wake up obsessed with it, and where the world is right now and how all this is working and all that. And the general consensus is that because of AI is going to be a flood of information out there, your personal brand, you as a person, is going to be the thing that differentiates you. And being able to tell stories or storify your stuff is going to be really big. And things that you may think are just old hat, you know what I mean, are amazing to people. Like experiences that you've gone through. And I always tell people get a book together, start writing down just lessons you've learned, experiences you've had, things you wish you would have known. Because your real objective and goal with your marketing, sometimes and your personal brand building, is to speak to the person you were 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Wish you knew this certain thing about land that you didn't know 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and then communicate that and share those type of insights, because insights are what people are looking for now more so than just information. And your insight comes from what you've experienced as a land broker in your area and your community. Here's your insight. Now, that can come from you doing the research with AI and getting insights from AI, but you're putting your own take on it and your own spin on it. And that's the differentiator that we're hoping and believing for you all to get by the time this is done. But that's really good that you're already pushing out and sharing. That rising tide lifts all ships thing is real. And for you all to be sharing like that, that is phenomenal. So kudos on that. That's really, really good. And now it's just a matter of possibly some frameworks that you can go into, from like maybe 60% educational and then maybe 20% engagement. But that educational is one of the highest converting things that you can do, because if people look at you as a thought leader and you let AI guide that, but you put your own, you put it out, as yourself in your area and the thought leader in your area. The insights though is really cool, and you can even tell AI when you're telling it, hey, do some research on my area and what the market looks like. I want to put together a market report, and then say, can you give me with some insights that are not obvious here that I can share with my audience, or give me some insights that would help people who are my ideal client profile really make better decisions, right? And then I love too, another prompt I love with these things is, can you write it at a fourth or fifth grade reading level?
Exactly.
Because that makes it so much easier to consume. This Agora Financial, which is one of the top financial people, they're multi-billion-dollar company. They looked through all the copy that they had written, and what they found is that the copy that was the best was written at a fifth grade level. And these are from high intellectual people who love that. But we like our time, and we like for stuff to just give it to me plain, so I can understand it. I don't need all the fancy words. I just need to understand what you're talking about. So if you ask it that, if it comes back kind of too highfalutin for you, just say, can you put this in so it's a fifth grade reading level? that makes it really plain so people can understand it. Now, I hope I'm not blabbing too much, but this is the thing. And there's context and then there's intent. What is your intention with the content that you're getting back? And what I had to do, and I started doing, is like when I first started doing it, it would give me some intellectual stuff back. But I'd say to it, hey, I really want this to help people. I really want people to get real value from the content I give. I don't just want it to be words. I just don't want it to be a sales thing. I want them to leave with it with feeling like they got something that they can actually go out and use. And if you have to say that, or if you say, you're writing this listing description, say, hey, I want this listing description to leave a person feeling like they would love to have this property. I don't want it to be over hypey or over salesy. I just want it to really connect with them and make them feel like this would be a great investment for them without being too salesy. You see what I mean? And what you get back, it understands that intention, which was a real revelation to me. I was like, wow, it can understand like the feelings that I want people to have at the end of it. And that changed the way that I prompted. So I want you to take that away too. As you're prompting, what are the feelings that you want people to leave with? And you tell AI, hey, write this in a way so that it does that. Because if you don't, it'll write it in an intellectual way and it'll be still usable, but it won't have that intention that a really good seasoned writer would give if you gave it those instructions to do that.
That's really good advice. That's how you separate yourself
Yeah.
from the other people. Like we were doing a call and one of the guys said, I can see these different people using, Chat GPT, and I know they're Chat GPT because of basically how high quality and how good the answers are. And Ross explained to them that's because they didn't put their personality into it. When you all walk into a room or you get on a call, if a person calls you about business, there is something that's very unique to you in how you operate. And based on everything that Ross is saying, is that you need to take who you are. When you encounter Ross, Ross wants you to have value. He wants you to walk away with being better than you were when you came in the room when you encountered him. And so with him, everything is his value. What's the give? I want to give value. So that's going to give something that's a real experience, personalized to working with Ross. So you need to find your thing. What's your thing that you want that you'd like for people to know about you, or how, do they feel like your stuff, when you left? Do they feel like they didn't waste their time? Like, what did they feel like you didn't talk too long? Whatever it is that your personal values are, that's what you need to put in there.
Yeah, and
Because-
here's another thing too. If you're not very clear on that, and you say, I'm just who I am, right?
Mhm.
This is what you can say to chat to. You can say, my ideal customer buyer, what kind of tone should I use when I'm speaking to them? Because some people are no nonsense. Some people need a authoritative, confident tone. Some people need a warm, friendly tone, to be able to, just like you do with some kids, some kids need their bottom spanked. Some kids a timeout will do. You know what I mean? Some kids, if you look at them wrong, they start crying. So you deal with everybody differently, right? So that's how it is we're all just big kids, right? So you deal with everybody according to what their disposition is, as you would have gotten from the ideal land client builder, right? So you say, when I'm writing, what tone would you recommend for this person? Because tone is everything, right? If you really want to take care of something that's serious, you go into a bank with a different tone than you go into a restaurant, right? If you're going into a bank to handle some financial information, you're going to have a different tone when you're communicating than when you're going to, pick up the grandkids or something. So you ask it, what tone should I be communicating in? Because that's what happens with people who don't really get into this AI stuff. They start saying, well, it all sounds like everybody else's. Yeah, because you're not guiding it. You're not telling it, hey, this is what I'm trying to get. This is who I'm trying to talk to. And this is how I want them to feel. Right. So if you start doing that, you're not going to sound like everybody else. But if you don't do that, then it may have that chance of, and you guys want to stand out. Right now, you're at the tip of the spear, which is great. But I want you to be at the tip of the spear and better than everybody else. Okay. If that's all right. That's the goal.
Yeah, so look at it as your assistant. You wanted to amplify who you are and act as an assistant that's representing you. and creating things the way you write it. You know, like way back in the day, way before, making best of market and become a CEO of an association and anything good that I've ever done. Starting out, I started out as an admin. I was an exec, and then I became an executive assistant, and then just kept going from there. But when I was an executive assistant, I had to learn what made me unique or good at what I did was that I learned the person's voice. Like, what is my boss going to say for this? How would they say it so that I could respond accordingly? Well, with AI, it's kind of the same way. You have an assistant at your hand. So if you're like, look, Flo, you have an assistant, right? And I'm sure that your assistant knows how to respond for you in a way that you would approve of, that she can just get it done if she's good at what she does, and if she's been with you for a while. With AI, you all each have that automatically, this assistant that can do things in the way that you would want it done, and at the same time, accelerate you because it can fill in the gaps for what you don't know, and it's really a pretty cool thing.
Very cool.
Very cool thing. And then one more thing before we shoot over here to Scout AI is some of you, have reached out offline and told me a little bit about, what it is that you need to do or what your concerns are about your market and where you are in this. If you don't know who you are, like what your tone is, like Ross said, if you don't know what that is, you probably should be getting some type of coaching, even if it's a one-time session, to get an outside person, whether that's with your broker, whether we would do it with you. We've got coaching programs. If you've got a broker, someone who can look at you from the outside and give you some direction on what you need to set into place for yourself to get that voice down. The other thing that's been kind of common that some of you have shared is that if you're in a market where there's a lot of younger people popping in that's doing digital, or there's just like your market is becoming more saturated and you're trying to figure out how to stand out, doing the things that Ross just shared with you for getting your voice out is how you separate yourself, where you take the experience that you've got and personalize it to who you are and your style. And that's how you accelerate and get the edge over everybody else. That's how you do it. You do it by using AI and customizing and personalizing it for your values and your experience and how you like to see things done. And that's how you win. Make
Yeah.
sense?
And just one more thing on that note, that if you need to, there's a voice mode on AI and you can just talk to it and you can say, hey, could you interview me to find out my values, my tone, act as an expert interviewer and ask me questions that will help you to help me to understand what my tone and my writing style, my personal way of delivery, so that I can really work with AI to have my own voice out there with whatever I write. So if you can give me a tone map or something like that at the end of this interview, that would help me to put into AI so that it can speak just like I would speak and represent my values. We have certain GPTs that we use with different coaching students that we have. That's kind of like one of those things that will guide you through it. But just asking will help you. When you don't know, say, hey, I need you to help me to find this out about me. And it's funny because I use my own personal ChatGPT. Every once in a while, I'll go and I'll ask it things based on what you know about me. And then I'll say X, Y, Z. And it will give me like just really great feedback. So if you've got your own ChatGPT account that is like a pro account or a plus account, then you should ask it based on what you know about me and how we've been working together. What would you say is my tone or my style for writing, so that I can put that tone or style into everything that I write? That's another way to approach that as well. That's why everybody should have their own ChatGPT account, plus account, $20 a month. Just do it so that it will know you like that. And a really fun experiment to do, and then I'm going to leave it alone, is to say, based on what you know about me, could you create an image of what it's like to work with me? That will blow your mind because it'll create this image and it'll pull up things about you and show you what it's like to work with you. And if you're stressed out, it'll show a stressed out person. And if you're happy with your work and you love doing certain things, it'll show that too. So that's a really cool experiment. If you ever get a chance, just say, based on what you know about me, because you can start it with that too. If you've been using it regularly, based on what you know about me, what would you say is my writing style? And so, and then it'll give you some things there too.
All right, Scout AI. Hi, Virgil. Nice to see you.
Virgil is back. Yes. Good to see you, man.
This is my all-time favorite.
You sell land for a living, you know the grind.
Can y'all hear that?
Listings, price changes, social posts, buyer follow-ups, and every one of them needs sharp, clear, compliant copy. That's where Scout AI comes in. Just tell it what you've got. 320 acres in Hill County, cross fence, 2 tanks, no improvements, loaded with deer, and boom, you've got a polished MLS description in seconds. Need a Facebook post, a postcard headline, an anniversary email for a past buyer? Done. Scout writes the words so you can close the deals. It's like having a copywriter in your pocket, 24/7. Land focused, broker tested, always on. Scout AI. Instant marketing copy for land brokers who'd rather be selling. Try your first prompt today.
Oh my goodness, I love that. That is my favorite.
Yes.
That is my favorite commercial.
That's my twin brother. He just wears a hat and he took his beard off.
Oh my goodness, Scout AI. All right. What's 2 things that you know you should be doing for your business that you are not doing because it takes too long and you just don't have time to focus? That guy mentioned a bunch of things. He mentioned Facebook post, anniversary emails.
What would you like to do with marketing if it was easier
And you,
and
had
you
all
didn't
the
have to
time.
think about it and you could just snap your fingers and you'd have this marketing thing happening?
Put it in the chat or throw
Put it in the chat or-
unmute yourself.
Yeah.
Either one will do.
There's no wrong answers here. And if you don't believe in marketing, just say, we don't believe in it.
Ah,
But you wouldn't be here if that was
these
the
are the
case.
innovators. Okay, nobody can think of anything? We got-
I can think of something. I'm not getting myself out personally, in person at events. I'd rather stay home and not hang out with humans.
Yeah, you got those 2 cute cats, of course.
Truth. My
They're
truth.
way more fun sometimes. No stress, no drama. Okay, so you're not getting yourself out at events. Okay, so you're not doing your networking. All right.
And what about digitally? How comfortable are you doing the same digitally, or is it pretty much the same digitally?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been doing this a really long time, so I think I'm just a little burnout. And I know Q4 is on the way and I need to, gang up.
Okay. All right. Rodney, how about you? What's one thing? We'll just do one thing. What's at least one thing that you know you should be doing in your marketing that you're not doing?
Social media.
Social media? Okay.
Period.
All
Well, it's
right.
just like, I guess I'm on Facebook Marketplace a lot, and
Mhm.
I see myself there. And I was talking to a guy at the gym the other day, and he's on there. His wife's on Twitter. But like I was asked him, how much do you spend on Facebook Marketplace? And I was like, I at least spend an hour. And he's like, oh yeah, easy an hour. But then once I'm on there, like these ads all pop up about stuff that I'm interested in, and I need to be there because I'm there. Like we need to be using ads. I mean, they're ads off trucks, just F-350 pickups,
Mhm.
hunting stuff, fishing that time of year, harvest, just everything, like just simple ads like that you just played. We need to have that there and then lead into our land listings.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay,
How are
that's
you
good.
doing for organic when it comes to you're posting or you're putting yourself out there organically without ads, just like how you looked visually online.
Well, our website right now, um, and then just videos off YouTube, that's all organic. And then Facebook, off the MLS, they have a site where you can just push it through there. But that's only covering what, two platforms, and IG, Instagram is huge. Like I feel myself going in through Instagram and more, and then going it's like kind of like the hook, Instagram, the picture or video, and then going to their website. But like
Right.
right now, we're not doing as, probably what we should be doing as far as all our listing that we have. We need ads for each one of them.
Yeah. Now the reason for the for asking about the organic is because generally, if you establish yourself organic, where you're communicating value, like, here's some educational points, here's some tips for that ideal customer, when the ads come back, they're going to convert better, right? So if you start with your ideal customer and then you say, hey, AI, how can I make content that's organic that would really connect and really make me look attractive to this ideal client, right? And then it gives you that content, and then you start posting that content, and you get a nice little list of it, chunk of it there. Then when you send ads, if you send ads, Facebook loves when you send ads back to itself, right? If you send ads back to your page with that organic content, with a call to action, like a soft call to action to, do business with me, then that will convert stronger and better, and you'll get more money for your ad spend, right? And also, if you get your ideal client and you say, hey, how do I what kind of ads, where should I run the ads for this person, for this type of ideal land client buyer? What kind, where are they at? What's the ideal audience for them? What's a custom audience for them? What's a lookalike audience for them? Who are they following that I can get the best bang for my buck when it comes to ads? But generally, best practice is get your organic sealed up in those places. And another question I would ask too is, where are they at? These are the deals that I've made. These are the ones that I actually want. These kind of deals. Where are those people hanging out? Are they Facebook, IG, or LinkedIn? Because it's read the entire internet and it knows everything about all these people. So it'll give you some guidance so that you can get some real traction before spreading wide. If you go deep and then wide, it's better than going wide and you're not very deep with your organic. That's what I would recommend for you.
Okay.
Okay. Stephen, you're coming up next if you want to prep yourself. Virgil, Virgil, how about you? What's one thing that you should be doing that you just haven't done?
You're going to get around to it eventually.
It's been on
You're
your list
almost
once.
there. Uh-oh. Oh,
we
we
can't
can't
hear you.
can't hear you. It's not coming through. Got that microphone? Give me a
Or
one,
maybe
two,
connect
three.
with audio.
Or connect with audio. It's probably on a different mic.
How about now?
Yeah,
you
there we
got
go. All
Okay.
right.
So my primary issue is I'm not consistent. So when I'm on Instagram, I'll post like 3 or 4 times and then I'll get some feedback on it. And then I'll get busy with deals and looking around and whatever's going on at the time. And then I'm very inconsistent. Then it fails for 2 months. And then I might post a couple more times and then I'll fail for a couple more months. So just inconsistency.
Okay.
That's all right.
There's a way to get around that. It's called batch. It's where
Favorite words.
yeah, it's it's where you create all of your posts at one time for 3 months, 6 months.
Mhm.
You could even do a year if you wanted to.
And then you put it on automation.
Mhm.
That's what we do for a lot of almost all of our clients. We
Mhm.
batch create. You first come up with a strategy of what are the pillars that we're going to talk about,
Mhm.
right? And that always starts with the ideal client. What are the 5 pillars that they'll talk about? When you watch shows like soap operas back in the days or any kind of show, they always have the five same things, right? There's this couple over here, there's a troubled teen, there's the mother-in-law getting involved too much, you know what I'm saying? I'm not getting too much into my personal life, but that's usually how it works, right? And then,
Look, we got
and
no
then-
trouble
and
teens.
then they play the same five stories over and over. So that's how our brains are used to receiving information. So it's like, so, you know, if you're talking about hunting and you're talking about family and you're talking about some of your favorite land types where you do that, and you talk about what's going on with, say, just hobbies that you may have, and you tell those same five stories and you help chat how to create posts for those five things that go with you. And one of the strongest things I always recommend too is just being interviewed. We always interview clients, but if you don't have someone there to interview you, you ask chat to do it, and you say, what kind of things could I use for my five pillars? You know, and then you get it to batch those things out, and then you have that consistency, which is important, because when you have to think of it yourself, you can't really be consistent because we're so busy living. We're so busy doing life. You know what I mean? There's kids, there's marriage, there's, you know, just church, everything. We got so much stuff to actually do, including business, that it's hard to just put our minds here. So that's why we leverage AI to do that part and do all the heavy lifting of thinking, and then we just come in and tweak, right? So you can get it to knock out a bunch of posts for you so that you can be consistent in the right way. So you want your content pillars, and what's your values, what's your things you like, what things do you enjoy, and what does your ideal client need to hear from you to feel like they're connecting with you. If it's farm and ranch, you're talking about farm and you're talking about ranch. You can talk about animals on ranch. You can talk about farm and ranch deals that have happened, some of the biggest ones that have happened. You can talk about farm and ranch news. You can talk about life on farm and ranch, lifestyle, tips for living on farm and ranch, if that's what you're trying to go after. And you make those your consistency by structuring it in a way that it allows you to be consistent. And then what Tracy says, batching it all in one day or 2 days so that you don't have to think about it again, because sometimes you just don't feel like it. So batching allows you, so when you don't have those feelings there, to be able to still accomplish that ability to be consistent and in a way in which our brains work. We need story. We need to know that when you go, oh, there he is talking about hunting again. Oh, there he is talking about, you know, whatever, farm and ranch again. Oh, there he is talking about animals again. Oh, there he is talking about, you know, so I like this guy. He's always talking about these five things: this football team, this, you know, golfing, this hunting, this type of farm and ranch, and this, and then you just stay there. And then that will give you that consistency.
And it can be pulled for it can be pulled for, you can do it 3 months at a time.
Right.
If you have your year planned out where you know what your focus is, what
Mhm.
you should be educating on in the midst of all of that. You can do 6 months, and then it can be scheduled out on something called a social media scheduler, which we're actually developing one out right now. There's some out there that we've been using in the past, but we're actually building one right now.
And
Where-
then there's, I'm sorry, man.
where it'll all drop at one time. So basically, when you drop it on, the post is created one time with the caption, which is a little write-up with the hashtags that's custom for you. Then when you schedule it, it drops on LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube if it's a video, Facebook. It
And
drops on all of them
It's
at one
drip
time.
fed at one time, meaning that day, that, then the next day, that,
Right.
then if you're doing it 3 times a week, it drops like that.
And you can schedule it at the same time.
Yeah.
So that when you all have new things like listings, a new listing you need to promote, or maybe you all are doing an event, something that's out of the ordinary, right? You can just post it. You just know to avoid, we'll say 11:30 Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, because that's when yours drop. That tells you, okay, well, I can post something new, or if you get an inspiration, at 3 o'clock, you can say, I'm going to post this today at 3 o'clock. You can do that and not conflict. And this way you can make sure your social's full. It doesn't require you to stop and go back.
And do it. Yeah.
That's the best way to focus
Yeah,
on
basically to
consistency.
schedule it out, to batch create it up front, to have your stories consistent with what is your values and your likes and your joys and your ideal clients, what they need to hear from you in order to feel like they can relate to you. And usually they're your ideal client
And
because you
stand out.
can relate. So, and to stand out because you'll be being consistent. So that's the
Mhm.
best practices for handling the consistency challenge.
And if you don't have good photos, a lot
Yeah.
of them, you would need to get some because people connect with faces, and it's proven that when they see you, they can totally like look at your stuff and just scroll past it. But when they see you, I was like, oh, it's Rodney. Oh, it's not, and they'll react on that one if those will get the highest engagement. So we do something called Stop the Scroll. Um, we do something that we call Stop the Scroll, where put your photo on it because that will get the highest. And now with AI, there's things that we can do with, you know, taking your photos and giving you a whole bunch of different looks too,
Mhm.
so that you've got plenty of content. So that's important too, is making sure you've got something. And if you've got a team, get all your different team members, so if one specializes in one area, have photos for that person whenever you post. Say farm and ranch, if you've got a farm and ranch specialist, okay, this person shows up.
And someone asked about the best platforms to use. We use two of them, Publer and Promo Republic. Those are two really good ones to use. Also, inside of Facebook, there's its own schedule that are put to Instagram.
Yeah, but it's not that great though.
Yeah, there's nothing great. You want
Yeah,
the
it's not that great.
automatic ones.
It's limited with what you can do, and they only care about theirs and Instagram.
Mhm.
Whereas with the other two that he mentioned, Metrocool is another one
Yeah,
that
Metrical is
we've
really
used in
good.
the past. That would
What were
be
the two again?
What's that?
Publer. I'll put it in chat.
Yeah.
I couldn't understand what you said.
Here, I'll put it in the chat. It's Publer and Promo Republic.
Hmm.
I think it's Metrocool. Okay, those are three.
Yeah,
that
and what's really exciting right now that I've been doing for a lot of our clients is you can take one picture and you can make a whole library of images of you doing things from fishing to walking along the along the fence line that are like hyper realistic. And that's really good if you don't want to get out there and do a photo shoot, just get your best picture, throw it into the AI, like on Ideogram that allows you to do it, Midjourney allows you to do it. There's a couple of technical things to it, but it allows you to be there and to have a quote there that you believe in, what's called a truth bomb. And that's a really powerful thing. So social has changed so much with AI because of AI that it's so much better now to really get that consistency and get that together, which is so awesome.
Are you recommending 3 times a week to drop new stuff in your social media?
Oh, that's what we do for our clients. We do 3 times a week so that they can put in something like that, something in the days that you're not automatically dropping on.
Mhm.
But it's the more the merrier. The more times you can drop, the merrier. But when we do it, we make sure just for the sake of consistency, because some weeks are a beast. And you know what I'm saying? Or really like you just don't got no
Yeah,
time to
just
do
can't.
it. You'll at least have 3 times a week where you show up. But if you can show up 3 times a day, that will be amazing, right? But at least that 3 times a week, that would be a great like starting point. Oh, I can't hear you, Mindy. Are you saying something? Mindy, you're on mute.
Hey, Mindy, you're on mute. There we
Oh,
go.
Can you
we
hear
go.
me now?
Yes.
Tracy, you mentioned this batch where you can create all of your posts for 3 months or 6 months. This is first I've heard of that.
Well, we can do an example one. We can do it. Example one in Scout AI. It's a couple step process.
But it's worth it
It's
after
just-
if you can go through
it's
it.
worth it. It's so worth
yeah.
it. It's a couple step process where we can generate it in AI, and we can show you how to do that in Scout. And the reason why we're asking you all what are the things that you all are doing is we want to make sure that we take this last 30 minutes that we've got and really hone it in on things that you all need. And then we use Canva to create the post. And we use Canva to create the post and then we schedule it. So it's kind of a 3 or 4 step process. But once you've got it, you've got it. Once you know how to do it, you know how to do it, and it'll totally transform what you can do. That's one of the things that we are doing in some one-on-one training. So if that's something that we'll talk about that in just a little bit, but if that's something that you want help with, we can totally break that down, the full process where you've got it recorded, boom, done, you know how to do it.
Yeah.
And
the
it'll change your world. It really
Yeah,
will.
the cool thing about Canva is that the ability to make templates. So once you got the templates made, like you see the ones there, these are different ones
No,
we did.
they're not seeing this.
Oh, they're not seeing the screen. Okay,
I'm trying to find
we'll
this,
get you
so-
some, we'll show you some examples here in a second. But what it allows you to do is to have templates where you can just go in and change the text or change the image and change both of them, and you'll have things that are on brand with your color scheme. Because when it comes to colors, it's like a hex code or an RGB code that gives you the color, and you can just tell it that, and it'll remember that for all of you. So you really have that consistency, not just in communication, but in look as well. Like you were talking about there, Virgil, you get this template. We build template libraries for companies and folks and all that. But that's what makes a difference.
So this one is one that we just did for Shelley. Shelley is in Oklahoma.
Yeah, she's an RLI, Ken folks.
Shelley's awesome. You all might know
There
Shelley.
she is.
There's Shelley. Shelley's awesome. So these are the graphics, and these were just the designs that were already made. You know, so when we batch recorded, it puts the template, it puts the short text that you will create onto this.
Right. This is what I was saying too about she sent just one picture and we're able to, one or two pictures, and we're able to dress her in different things that appeal to her ideal client. And it's the reason why it's Facebook is because faces, right? And then the lifestyle things and all this is thought out with AI, and the images are generated with AI, but it really makes her brand look premium. And it really speaks to who she's seeking to attract because she does luxury and farm and ranch, right? So if you're doing something else, it would be a different look. And of course, it's got her colors from her brand, and she's able to show up consistently now without having to go and try to create something every single time. And that also is tuned for her ideal client.
So that was just the graphics that you all saw. We also have the captions that are done that go in there.
And the captions are the words that you say, and those are super important too. And that's where chat also stands out at, is that it allows you to communicate something that's an aha moment for your ideal client that lets them in on a piece of knowledge they may not have had or known, or let them know about, how you do business or anything like that.
And then with the ones that we're creating some that are almost done that'll be put into Landverse AI for you all. Those are pre-made posts that have messages for different audiences with captions so that you all have something if you all aren't able to go in and build out your own custom ones. All right, Stephen Atkinson, you're up next. What's your thing?
Hello.
And just so you know, Nat, you're next.
Can you hear me?
You
Yeah.
can.
Awesome. No, for me, and I've been meaning to do it on ChatGPT but kind of like Mindy, some days you want to hide at home and not be out among people. But there's all kinds of events where our clients are at, and we need to be attending those. And so I've been wanting to, which AI could easily do it, just create me a list of all the events that are associated with XYZ and what the dates are, and help give me like a big bulleted point list of where they're at and when they're at, and make me get out and network with people. That's something that's been on my list.
That's really
awesome.
good.
The
Yeah.
only way to deal with that is just to do it. That's like, okay, today is Tuesday or Wednesday. That by Monday of next week, you all both start your week out Monday going to ChatGPT, asking that question about events in your area and where should you be, and then make your commitment. Where am I going to show up, and put it on the calendar and just commit to going. Because when that thing is that thing you know that you should be doing, you're not, then that means that's going to be the needle mover and the big difference that can change things for you. But if you don't make that decision and just do it, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. And also you can, if you hold on just a little longer, we're almost to the point technologically where we're about to have robot clones of ourselves, and you can send the clone out to be able to. That's my plan, at least.
And it can just keep a smile on its face the whole
There
time.
you go. That's right. That's right.
Too funny.
Speak different languages, everything, man. It's gonna be great.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Stephen. All right, Nat, you're up next. And Gene and Vincent, you all are next. Nat, you're on
Oh,
mute.
you're on mute.
So what's the question?
The, the question is, what's at least one thing that you know you should be doing marketing wise that you're not doing?
I'm a lot like Mindy and Steve, you know, the office responsibility keeps me here. I should be out, because we're an ag company, and I should be out more at ag related and water related meetings. Just so people see us and see us with our logo and our brand and that. And then my other dilemma is how to compete. We're in a small community, and if you have a big national name, that means you're important and know everything. And of course, we obviously don't. But how to compete with the big boys? They come in here and because their office is in Denver or somewhere in another state, they obviously can market better than we can, which we've kind of proven over time. And I think Virgil just up the road from us, he'll agree that they don't. But how to convince the local landowners that we're as good as the big boys?
First of all, you got to look like the big boys. I don't know what your marketing looks like because I haven't seen it, but how you do that. And this comes from, you know, when we first started this with commercial real estate, I did not have a clue what I was doing. I was good at luxury and investment properties, but in working with buyers and sellers. But when it came to commercial, I was as green as could be. I had no clue what I was doing, but I looked like one of the big boys, and I looked like what I was, you know, I looked like I knew what I was doing. Um, and then Ross had me doing videos, and he got me to the top of Google so people could find me. So basically, I looked like I knew what I was talking about, to the point where at least 3 calls in a row over here. Well, you seem to be the only one that knows what's going on down there, which I thought was hilarious because I didn't know anything. You know, you seem to be the only one down there that knows what's going on. Clearly your team is the one, you know, to work with down there. And all it was that I looked like one of the big boys, and I was where people could find me, and I was using digital marketing to stand out. And then when they called, I didn't talk a whole lot because at that point I didn't know what I was doing. But I would ask questions, I would listen. I didn't have the experience that you have. And I would go scramble like crazy, researching Google, everything else I could figure out to work the deal. If I had AI back then, oh my goodness, it would have been just ridiculous, where I could have just opened up chat and asked the question and gotten the answer and not spend hours researching and making sure I got everything in order before I get on the next call with these people. So it starts with looking like the big boys, matching their look or looking better than them.
Yeah.
Seconds with your messaging, and then taking who you are and what you do, what you know, what makes you different from everybody else, because you're local, you're on the ground, you know your stuff. Then you can at least compete with the big boys. You know, I use myself as the example because that's how this all started. But we've got a girl out in Arizona who was a top producing residential broker, got into commercial same way I did, didn't know what she was, it wasn't very, very strong in commercial. And she went up against 9 brokers from all the big boys, SVN, Cushman & Wakefield, Marcus and Millichap was there. She walked out with the deal. And she walked out with the deal based on what you're talking about, being local. The couple was a couple that said to her, we went with you because, you know, clearly you know your stuff, and that you were the only one who seemed to care, that asked questions about us and what we were doing and what our goals were, whereas everyone else came in and they basically did the dog and pony show, because that's what some of these big brokers that are coming out of Denver and wherever else, they come out and do the dog and pony show. And because people can't find you, or they don't see you matched in the same look as everyone else, then they don't feel that you have the same caliber. But you can do it with messaging, you can do it with your image.
Yeah, one of the biggest things that we do when it comes to web design and building websites and all that is we make sure that the banner is a video, and that, because that's eye catching, that like it signals status, right? And that there's some really good video that speaks to the ideal client, that it looks like the local, that's the beauty of AI too, that it looks like the local fauna and that it looks like their dream state of where they would like to be, aspirational. So it looks like, oh, I'd like to be a part of that. That's me. There, I love horses. I love mountains. I love, big
I
open
can
fields
relate.
and all that. I can relate, right? And so if you do that, and then the second part is going to be what your website says. What's the communication on there? If you're talking about yourself, it's going to be harder. You always want to talk about them,
Mhm.
their problems, and how you solve their problems.
Right.
That's a science as well. And if you use AI to do these things, so you don't have to try to figure it out, but you say, okay, what's the best practices here? Because if you go with best practices, success leaves clues, right? So if you go with what are the big boys doing that makes them look so attractive, they're clearly outlining their value proposition
Mhm.
there. And a lot of times the problem is people really need to be interviewed because we take for granted what we know,
Mhm.
right? You guys are
Right.
amazing at what you do. You've done it so much, it's not no big deal to you. So what Tracy does when she interviews people is she'll get the whole story and then she'll brag on you when it comes to, web design or brochures or anything like that. But in a way, that's a humble brag. That's basically tying your experience to their need
Right.
and how you can understand them because of your experience. But it always goes back to the people and what they need to hear from you in all of your communique, from your social to your website to your Google page to all of that stuff.
Right.
It needs to speak to what they need and what they want in a way that is familiar. And that's why these big boys usually get that because they go with agencies that kind of understand that kind of stuff,
Right.
and they'll put it out there. But what they miss is this new AI thing that really hones out that ideal client that's better than anything. And if you start there and you communicate and you make your visuals and your images and your words all line up to what your ideal person would need to see to know, like, and trust you, that's where you're going to win every single time.
Every time.
Every time.
And then you
Done
take,
over and over and over again. We've done over and over and over again. And it works every time. It's
It does.
science.
that's part of the reason why we do ebooks and things on our ebooks and blogs on our websites, and you should have one if you don't.
Yeah, and we put people on Amazon too, because all that authority signaling, we'll write a book and we'll put them on Amazon. So all of that shows that you're one of the big boys, and you're giving value at the same time. So, but that's some advanced stuff,
Yeah,
but
we're
you don't
look-
need to do all that.
For sake of time.
Yeah.
When it comes to, first is get the look down, right? Get your messaging down. Take the tools that you've got with Outreach Pro and make sure that you're doing your prospect letters, your letters. Because the other thing those
Yeah.
big boys are doing is that they're calling or they're mailing, right? And that's how they're getting the listings.
And tell it to give you a script for your call. That's according to best practices that will attract this type of person. And it'll give you a script. It'll give you a longer one. It'll give you a shorter one. It'll say, hey, can you make this sound more like me? Or, whatever that is that you need to do.
Yeah. I wish we had more time with you all. This is like our last session. The big boys are calling or they're emailing. So you use Outreach Pro to do get your prospect letters solid. Scout AI, you're gonna nail your postcard messaging.
And download that book and try those prompts out on that as well. If you don't know, just download the book and just copy the prompts and put them in there.
And then you'll have what you need to compete with them. And even down to things like video. In Scout AI, you can pull a video script for how you can do, how can I do a 30-second video promoting myself or promoting my business. So it's really a time with this being today's August 27th. You all are in good timing. If you just block out some time and say, okay, I'm going to focus on my business to solve some of these problems so that I'm the one that's standing out. You all will be ready, to be able to compete in new ways against some of the larger brokerages that are, coming into these spots. And they're not that they're better, because they're surely not. Most of them, they're riding off of a system that someone else created.
And they can't care as much because of that system a lot of
And-
time,
and
because you're
not
not
even
dealing
there.
with the individuals
Yeah.
one-on-one like you guys do, which is a huge advantage.
Yeah.
Because everybody likes that. They like to deal with a human being, not a whole process or a system.
We've seen a person lose I think it was a $30 million ranch to someone in a different state, a neighboring state, but nevertheless, lost it when this guy is very experienced in ranches, has sold a lot. So has sold a lot of high-end things, but because he didn't have the look, and the guy trusted someone in a neighboring state more because, oh, they do this. He overlooked, and that kind of thing happens every day. But when you have you're showing up at the event so people can remember you and see you, right? Like what you're talking about. Let me get my show up with my logo on. If they see you, they can remember you and stay top of mind. This is why doing your social is so important, because when you're doing your social and you're consistent with it, you all are staying top of mind in your network of the people that remember, oh yeah, Gene events, they do farm and ranch, or they
And
do
after
this.
they meet you at these local events, they're gonna go and investigate you.
Right.
You want them to be able to know by your way you communicate on your website, on your socials, on your Google Maps, that you are committed to this and that you are committed to helping them. And
Yeah.
that's what AI is gonna really help you do.
Yeah.
You can do this, Mindy. Don't look worried. You got this, okay?
It's ABC's, all bases covered. All right. So didn't mean to stay so long on that. Nat, let's try one more time.
There he is.
Yeah,
He's ready.
I finally got the mute back on. No, I am really a babe in the woods on all this social media. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not, so I'm a clean slate. And I'm just kind of taking this in like a sponge. I need to know what direction I should go in with my personality, or I like going out and meeting people. I meet a lot of people at the ag shows, things like that. But I'm not a social media guy. Never have been. Not that I can't be, but anyway. So I'm just taking taking all this in and trying to figure out which direction I need to go.
As far as TikTok, are you comfortable dancing on camera?
No.
Okay, TikTok's out there. We're gonna leave TikTok.
Yes.
We're-
And I've always my kids are on Facebook, Flo's on Facebook, Rodney. I've never got on it because it's just I've always felt before, not in a business mode, but before it was too much information out there to, that. So you know where I'm coming from, but I'm excited about getting in the right direction and find out what fits me and what works for me and my personality.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That is awesome.
And it'll match it. That's the
And
beautiful
this-
thing about AI, is that it'll match your personality and where you're trying to come from, how much you want to get in, how much you don't want to get in. It'll give you a strategy for all of that.
Well, I
So-
think I'll get with the team here and we'll figure something out that'll work for me.
Oh,
There
yeah.
you go.
This is
That's
a
the
good
attitude.
direction to go in for sure.
That's the attitude. That's
It
half the
is.
battle right there.
And in this
Okay.
day and age, you're coming into this at a good time where you can get up to speed super quick with all of this.
Yes. It
All
is the
right,
golden
guys.
age.
It is. Flo, I haven't forgotten you, but because of sake of time, we're gonna go ahead and shift to, if you're okay with that, we're gonna go ahead and shift to Scout AI, because I know some of you are gonna have to.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. All right, let me share the screen, and
Logged in.
I know, it's like, where's my people? Where'd they go? No. Okay, share screen. Okay, my window's open.
Can you all see the Landverse website there?
Not yet.
Nope.
Okay.
I feel like we're in the twilight zone this week. We've
Yes.
got
Look forward.
all kinds of technical issues. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, let's try it again. All right, Scout AI. Since most of you talked about either events or scheduled events, like you all showing up, or social media, why don't we start with social?
Okay. I was thinking scroll down, take a quick look at the prompts. If you don't quite know where to start, just kind of go down and take a look at these different prompts to give you some ideas.
So in the first one, you can write a MLS description for acreage. You just fill in, when you copy the prompt, you're just gonna fill in the acreage amount, county, state, and you're gonna share your key features. And when it comes to tone, what type of tone? Do you want it to have professional, personable, friendly? What do you want to have?
Yeah.
You can also, if you're creating a listing blurb for like Land of America, you could do that.
Now, usually tones, I like to go with warm and friendly or authoritative and confident, or you can mix all of them together, right? Because when you're doing for social, that's warm and friendly. Whenever you meet somebody, you're always warm and friendly, right? Social is just putting that onto digital. So if you're not sure about the tone, you can say that, or you can go back and ask chat, what tone would you recommend that I would say this in? I need to do this thing. What tone do you recommend I use for this? And then it'll tell you some tones.
It's got things like when you're filling out a form or a flyer, maybe you're doing an offering memorandum and you just need the top 5 selling points. You don't need a full blown description. You can do that in here. At the bottom of each one of these sections, it gives you an example so that you can follow along. If you just need a Facebook post because you've got a new listing, there's things for that. LinkedIn post for educating investors on ROI potential, for acreage. Instagram caption. So there's some things that you all can use to just go in here and do something quick. Like if you've got a just listed postcard, it's going to give you a headline and a 60-word message that you can put on your postcard.
And the good thing about these is that it's always best practices. You don't want to put too many words on a postcard or have it at different font sizes that are too big and all those things. So it'll give you the best practices that'll make you look like this is not your first rodeo, but that's important.
You can build out your brochure, like if you need a 15-word brochure intro for a particular property, you can do that. You need a call to action or something for your QR codes for your postcards. So it has a lot of different things that you can do. What do you want to think about when it's time for Scout AI? You want to think marketing. When I need to market, I already got my persona. I know who I'm marketing to. I just need something quick done because maybe I'm going to do postcards or I'm going to do a brochure. I'm going to do a specific Facebook post. You could do it right in here. So for the sake of time, let's shoot into Scout AI. And we're going to do 2 things. We're going to do an MLS description, and then we'll do a social media, a batch. See if we can pull that off in a few minutes time. Okay. Flo, I believe that you have our listing. So there's 2 ways you can do this.
Copy and paste too.
There's 2 ways you can do it. You can either click that little write my listing prompt where it's going to ask you for some details, like tell me the acreage and location, tell me some top features, tone preference. That's so if maybe and who's your buyer type that you're trying to get, give me your agent, your name and phone number. That's for if maybe you don't even know where to start with this. But you can also just type in here what type of property you've got.
So
Tell me.
can I do it? Can I speak it?
Yeah. Do you want to copy and paste it into the chat?
Uh,
You're on the digital or
No, she's gonna tell me.
oh, you're gonna tell, okay, yeah, we're ready.
okay. So if you want to, it's 50 acres with orchard, peaches and cherries located in Ferry County, town of Kettle Falls in Washington State. It's on the west side of the Columbia River, about 30 miles south of the Canadian border. And it's immediately south of Highway 20. There's 16 dwelling units on it, 4 RV hookups, and a fruit packing shed with a cold room. It's surrounded on 3 sites by state land. It's close to the Columbia River with spectacular fishing and hunting area. There's a lot of potential for it, and I'd like to find out who is the ideal client for this.
Okay, so for finding out who the ideal client is for this, you want to go to, you want to put that into Ideal Land Client Builder to find out who your ideal client is for that particular property. For this one, this is for building out the MLS description. And I'm sure I have missed a lot of stuff.
You can always stop at the end. press stop and then get the rest of the information. But you want to just report what you got right now?
Okay.
Ready?
Flo, I'm gonna be missing some things, so we're gonna need to add some more in here. Okay.
Yeah, and she'll get to the end and then we'll stop it and then we'll ask you fill in the blanks and then we'll put the rest of it in there. Okay, here we go.
Okay, we got 50 acres of orchard property. It's got what, peaches and cherries?
Yes.
It's in Kettle Falls. It's on the west side of the Columbia River, immediate south of Highway 20. It's got a packing plant surrounded by 3 states, spectacular hunting and fishing. What am I missing?
There's 16 dwelling units. There are 4 RV hookups and a fruit packing facility with cold rooms.
Okay.
16 doing, you got all 3 of those?
Okay, it's got 16.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, cool.
Okay, so it's asking me for more questions to finish strong. It's asking about, is the packing plant operational? Why don't we
It is
answer?
it's operational and it's used seasonally during fruit harvest. The
Hold on one
irrigation,
second. I'm sorry, one more time, because it's recording you, which is great. So I want you to go ahead and say it after I push record here. Ready and go.
okay. I forgot what I was saying. The packing facility is used seasonally for the during the picking harvest for cherries and peaches, so approximately 3 months.
And what's the water source?
The water is historical, it's glacial water, clean and clear, some of the best water in the Northwest.
Any fencing, housing, or other structures?
There are the 16 dwelling units, everything from cabins to triplex, and 4 RV hookups for seasonal.
And then who's the target buyer?
Orchid operator, investor, or recreational buyer. All 3 of those are good?
All of the above.
Okay. And your name and phone number for the call to action.
Flo Sayer, it's 509-539-3161.
All right, let's see what we get.
Awesome. Make sure your name is spelled right. Okay, here we go. Can you read this okay?
Yep.
Is there anything that you'd want to change or add?
Just a minute, I'm still reading.
Okay.
No, it's not surrounded by 3 states. It's surrounded by, on 3 sides by state land.
Emma? So,
I think-
I'm sorry, Flo, go ahead.
I think that's about it. Ideally, this could become an RV park or recreational, and it could also become turned into something for. Oh, let me think.
You put and what else can you think
Or
of?
like a hunting fishing camp type setup.
Okay, and then Ross is saying, recommending that we put in here,
And what else do you think would be good to make this better and most appealing to my ideal client without lying or making something up? without lying or read something out. Okay, there we go.
Okay, so the first thing it automatically does is recaps what it's adding or what changes that you asked for. And then it's going in and is updating it. For the sake of time, Flo, I'm going to send this to you. What it added in here, it changed the 3 states to surrounded on 3 sides by state land. The property offers exceptional hunting, fishing, and privacy, making it a prime candidate for a future RV park, base camp, or recreation-focused retreat. With highway frontage, utility infrastructure, and a productive orchard already in place, the groundwork is set for income now and expansion later. And then it put a different type of call to action, whether you're looking to operate, invest, or recreate. This is a rare opportunity to own a versatile tract in scenic Northeast Washington. If you want, I can send you this link so that you've got it.
Please,
Okay.
copy it also to Rodney,
Okay,
because we're working on this together.
awesome. And then there's different things that you all can do with this from here. This particular one, I believe it started out as a 200 word. If you can ask it for certain character numbers. So if like if you're using Bold Trail, it's up to maybe 2,000 characters, or max, if you're with Remax in the Max Center, I think the max is like 2,000 characters. You can ask it to make it shorter, smaller.
And this is the Facebook version.
And the only thing that he put in there was FB for Facebook. And so it created a Facebook version that you all can just take and put a picture up or a video up and stick it on there.
Yeah, and I'd go from here to like a short 1-minute video script, voiceover script, that you could just stand out there in front of it and just rattle it off, or tell it to give you 3 bullet points that you can just say so you don't have to remember a full script and do that kind of thing.
Rodney, go ahead while I put this in.
I was just gonna ask the question like you did last week with Mindy on that Gunnison property in Colorado where it picked the mountain that she knew.
Mm-hmm.
I was curious if you could throw an image on this and just see what it came up with, or.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So it gave a script and it's telling you where to go. It's like the camera's on, you're standing on a property or with aerial footage behind you. So either you go to the property or just use the footage behind you.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's giving you a script. Hello there, I'm Flo Sayer, and I want to show you something special just outside Kettle Falls, Washington. So it's giving you your script of what you can say based on this description. And then it's giving you a closing and it's telling you what to put on the screen, your phone number, your name, your brokerage, to put your brokerage on here.
And if I was you, Flo, for the sake of speed, I would just read this and record it. I do a lot of video coaching, and video is not easy to do video unless you do it a whole bunch, right? But if you don't do video a whole bunch, it's harder. But it's not hard to sit there and read, right? So if you read and record this with a little microphone, and then take that video that you guys did of that property, or take some pictures of it, and just put the audio on top of that, then you'll have a video right there. Like, no problem. And it'll be really powerful because it'll have your voice. It'll have, and you can just do the other stuff in Canva, as far as throwing up the text and the number and all that. So
Ronnie, you asked about a photo.
Yeah, if you could pull a photo of this similar.
Yeah, we're just meeting with him tomorrow, so it'd be sweet to have a local photo already.
Okay, so for that, you would go to Scout Snapper
yeah.
for an actual listing
Did
that
you
you
already
have.
know?
I haven't. I left it open.
It's open though.
Yeah, I left it open so that they can use it. That needs to be closed because I'm sharing the whole screen.
Do here is go here. So we get, Scout Snapper. So I'm opening, is this Scout?
No, I
Scout.
had it open. So one that we didn't go over is Scout Snapper. Scout Snapper is the one that if you need a quick image for a listing, maybe it's been raining for days and you can't get out to the property to get the photo, but you want to go ahead and get that going, you would go into Scout Snapper. So we don't have the address for this, so we're gonna need that.
It's, just a minute, I just had it. It is
Address tab based on the description.
32 Apple Tree Drive,
What a cute name.
Kettle Falls, Washington, 99141.
Can you give it the address too? It's 32 Apple Tree Drive.
No.
About the city?
Hmm.
Yes.
Okay, what I did with this right here is I took the description and I put it into this, and I said to make an image of it. Right? I make a prompt for it, and it made me a prompt. And then I put that prompt and said make an image of it. And it asked me, do I want a drone or do I want, and I said, you decide. And then so it's starting to make an image. Now for images, I would usually use like Midjourney because it's just a great image maker. I'm not sure if I'm logged in on Tracy's computer here. It's the best for image creation. And so what I would do is I would take that prompt that he gave me and I go here and then I can make it landscape or whatever I want to do there. All that's there. Turn some aesthetics up and then just press go. And then it starts making an image for me. This is a dedicated thing. Midjourney, I just absolutely love. And here is its rendition. Almost there. You see how fast that works too? It's so cool. So it's like a rendering that's never going to be the exact, but you know, for it to give some kind of concept of what it looks like. And there it is. Apple orchards and all that good stuff. Okay. And so the one that was made inside of this is what they would imagine that it would look like in that. Does that look anything like it?
A little.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
how about the other one?
And then you can tweak it, you know, accordingly.
This is much truer to what it looks like.
There you go. That's why we do Midjourney for images. But you get the prompt from Scout AI, and then we put that right into Midjourney. And Midjourney is like amazing with that kind of stuff. So that's
Now,
how
is Midjourney, is that a paid site?
It's a
yeah,
yeah, it's a separate AI.
it's like you can do $9 a month or $20 a month or whatever, however many you're gonna do, but you can get started for like $9.
On
And-
that picture there, is there
Mhm.
any way you can take out all those neighbor houses or buildings? Because there's no
Yeah.
other houses around it.
Right, right. And the thing is, it's a rendition, and then there would be some editing and things that you can do within there, like you can edit in here, and you can erase and things like that. But
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so back to Scout Snapper.
That's it.
Okay, so with Scout Snapper, you know, you got your MLS, you can do your postcards. Like you saw, we did the Facebook for that particular listing. But let's
Also, I just want to speak quickly about the prompts too, real quick. If you don't know what you want to do, just create a photolistic prompt for this acres, land type, state. That's the quicker way to do it. I just did it with the thing, but you go through there and play with that. It'll give you some prompts, and you can make a better prompt on that. We were just doing that for speed. Okay, go ahead.
All right, let's get out of Scout Snapper because we're in Scout Snapper still. Let's see. Go back to Scout AI. For those of you with social, you guys, it's 2:07. Are you all able to stay on a little bit longer? Or do you, anybody have to dash off?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
good.
Okay. Okay, so back to Scout AI. So you won't, for those of you who asked about social, we'll do an initial one to show you how to do this. So for this, let's see, who wants to be the volunteer? See, who told me about social? Mindy, Nat.
Yes,
Nat, tell me what, you're in Washington with Flo, right?
right.
Okay, so I'm gonna start out with your name. I'm with Land and Wildlife, based in, what's the name of the city that you all are in?
Pascal.
Pascal, based in Pascal,
That's
Washington.
Washington, yeah.
Okay. Ned, what's your specialty?
My specialty, uh, finding land and getting it on the market.
So you're a general land broker?
Yes,
Okay. I need, do you want to reach buyers or sellers or both?
both right now, yeah. Yeah,
I'd like to create a 1-month social media campaign to reach buyers and sellers in my market. The content should be a mix of educational,
Mostly educational, 60-70% educational, and then 20% engagement, and then 10% hobby.
I'd like to include a CTA on each
A soft CTA that's not salesy.
that leads people back to my website.
And may encourage them to follow or whatever you feel is the best practice.
Can you show me the first week of post? I forgot the table and rows.
It's okay. I give it to you. We got a bunch of things in there. Oh, it's asking for your website URL to include in CTA, and once we share that, boom, but it's gonna go ahead and here we go. Here's the educational post.
And it's creating 4 posts starting out.
Yeah.
So it's giving you one that's about 110 words, and it's, asking, it's talking about curious how to check for water rights when buying land around Pasco, and it's spelling out how water is everything. And then it's asking if you want a checklist. So with it, when it does things like, puts in the post, want a simple checklist to get you started, you can either ask it to create the checklist for you, or you can say, I want posts that don't require me to have to create anything, and then it'll redo them for you. It's doing a poll for engagement. And where you see where it says post 3 engagement, post 2 educational, sellers focus, is telling you what type of content it's creating for you, so you know what you're accomplishing with your social.
And this is how you get consistency without the stress.
So once you've nailed, okay, I like this, then you can say, go ahead and create the other, let's see.
I need to see summary real quick.
Oh, we'll see the summary.
Yep.
Okay, so it's giving you that summary and next steps. It's telling you educational post 2, it's giving you 1 engagement one, 1 hobby one. It's telling you what the CTAs are. So the call to action is either visit our site or grab our free guide, explore, follow us. And it's telling you how many words it is. Let's say you want much shorter. You can say, I want some shorter ones. But in this case, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna ask it to create 1 month. Thanks, let's create a full month of post in this fashion. Create it in a table with rows and columns. I'd also like to include with the captions hashtags for my area, for Lane Broker, for Pascal, and any others that are relevant for helping me to get found. So it's giving us a 1 month social media calendar laid out in a table. And it's just like in the system would, because these are, while this is building out, let me show you this. When you're thinking about the AI that you're working with, these are built as assistants. And this is what you see how it says right here. It gave a breakdown of what it's doing. It says absolutely not. Here's a complete 1 month social media calendar laid out in table form with 4 posts per week. So you got 16 total per month, each 80 to 120 words. And then it's recapping what Ross asked for, 60 to 70% educational. I've included soft CTAs and hashtags relevant to Pasco, Washington, and your land broker, along with broader land broker and rural land interest tags. But see how it says note, just like your assistant would. These are actual assistants. Note, I still need your website URL to plug into each CTA. Just drop it and I'll slot it right in. Meanwhile, I've used yourwebsite.com as a placeholder.
That's a good assistant. It's a better assistant than some of the ones we've had. This is true.
Can I ask a question on that? Where it asks, we don't have a specific website specific to our team right here. It's all on the larger company website, which is, covers 3 states. So would it be wise for us to have our own specific website just for our Team Pasco?
Yes, ma'am, you should. So,
And how do we link that? Then we would link that to the company site or the land leader site.
You would link it to both of them, but your particular website, you'd want to make sure that you're driving people to your website. I'm going to try not to go on a soapbox because I've got to literally a whole training on this. If everybody, and this is regardless of whether I'm the person who does your website or you get someone else to do it, everyone should own your own brand. You should. You need to have your own name, your own logo, your own website that you control, that you direct people to, because companies are great sometimes they're great for a long time, but at the end of the day, you're always you. And if you have to make a switch, things change, leadership changes, if you realize you're paying them too much money, whatever the situation is, you need to be able to just drop that brokerage logo off and have yours where people still know you as you, because you're the brand. Brokerages are always going to promote their brand first, right? Because that's what it's for. They're always going to promote them first. But you need to make sure that you're controlling your own media. And the only way to do that is to have your own website, your own logo, your own domain name. And that's what you always drive everybody back to, not to the primary brokerage. That should be a secondary or like an accessory, not your main thing that you're depending on to get business. Because what happens is on the back end, a lot of those companies, when the leads come in from the marketing that you did, come into that site, guess what? That stuff gets farmed out into other people sometimes because it's about their, growing their brand, their name. But if it's all you, whatever you put out comes back to you every time. And you can control that. So yes, sure, that was a long answer, but yes, ma'am, you need your own website.
Okay, we need help to figure out how to do that.
Okay, well, let's talk afterwards, because that needs to happen. Like I said, even if it's not me that does it, that needs to happen. All right, so now you've got a 1 month campaign. What you would do from here is copy and paste this in an Excel sheet. And you could upload that Excel sheet into Canva. And Canva, after you pick your templates, Canva would automatically, oh, I missed out one thing, I'm sorry. I missed out something important before you go to Canva. You need one more column. You need a third column for the short text that goes on the graphic. Can you add a third column? Can you add an additional column that provides short text on the graphic? Please keep the text at a minimal.
And also, if you could, at the end of all of it, give me a short style guide so I can remain consistent with my fonts and colors and recommend your best recommendations for those.
Okay, now Nat doesn't have a brand, but if he had one
This is it.
website, he could, put his website in and it would pull all that for him.
You go. Got water rights. So the things that Tracy was showing you earlier, this is how we're able to do it. Because you want that short, punchy stuff. I wish I had time to go into truth bombs and other frameworks that really make it stand out, but there's you can just ask chat, hey, what are some other ways I can really make it
We're
stand out?
doing trainings coming up. The training schedule is getting ready to come out. So if you all do want to know more, there's two things that you can do. If you want to know more about, social or some of the in-depth marketing, when that schedule comes out, I can make sure that you will all get it so that you can sign up for the trainings, because those are more in-depth. The other thing that you can do is if you're like, okay, this info's been great. I still feel like I need help because I need focus to make sure that I can get everything done that I need to get done. What we can do is we can do a one-on-one with you. We can do a one-on-one coaching, where we can do 4 sessions with you, where we either meet with you and your team, and we break down your goals. What are we doing for, what are you trying to do? What do you need to accomplish? And then we'll do it with you, the breakdown in AI, to make sure that by the time you're done, you've got, we'll say your bio's done, or if you're like, I need to reinvent myself, if you need to have your prospecting letters and things done, we'll work with you to get it all done so that you've got your full set of everything. If you don't have a graphic designer, we've got 2 plans for that. If you don't have a graphic designer, or someone that can take this information that you pulled. So like say you got your postcards and you don't have postcard templates. You can use our team, and our team will create the designs for you so that, and give it to you in a way that you can edit and reuse. So we've got 2 plans. One is we can set up a 4-week or 4 sessions. It doesn't have to be 4 weeks, but 4 sessions where we go through this with you all, walk you through it. We help work the content for you. That's $5.97. And if you don't have a designer or someone who can actually create, let's say you say, I need to have some ebooks done for ebooks. Well, then our team will create it for you. That one is at $1,200. So either way, you have your full set when you're done of what you need. I don't know if you all know anything about our schedule and how many people we have on. We can't take on any more than probably 3 people for this, on this round. So if you want to do it, just either reach out right afterwards or stay on the line or put in the chat or something and we can talk about it. And then meanwhile, we can get you all the training schedule where, that's something you all want to keep growing and keep learning how to do this, keep learning how to do your marketing, then you'll have that and you'll be able to hop on those calls and keep building out and marketing yourselves. Okay, so with this social, you see that third column, that last column, that goes on the graphics. In Canva, you would basically take this, the next step from this would be to take it in, put it in an Excel sheet and do a batch record session. That's something that we would walk you through to make sure that you know how to do it and have the recording if that's something that you all want to do as a one-on-one with us. We are going to do a social media training the social media training, I don't think comes out until October.
Yeah, and this is really cool. I love the brand style guides because this gives you that consistency where you know that, you know, they get the best practices. Montserrat's beautiful, and Open Sands and Lato are beautiful. So it tells you what the headline, the graphic text, and then the colors, you know, what colors, deep green, clay red, blue sky. And you can say, hey, I like other colors, but having these hex codes is really powerful and beautiful. And then we hand them off to our team, and they go in and they just they rock it out. But the beautiful part is when we do it, Tracy is always the eyes that do the final check. And if something looks off, you always want that human in the loop whenever you're dealing with AI, with someone who knows the game, so you can know and who's done a lot. But she's amazing with just making sure it's perfect.
Well, thank you for taking me from Rain Man.
Which I know politically careful because I'm ready to throw things out there. But she's really good at making sure there's absolutely, and I'm the more framework guy. Like, are you following the frameworks that the big boys use and people like that use so that everything's like done according to best practices? But she's got that eye for beauty and making it look great. And I've got all the geeky knowledge, so.
So the other thing that you can do with Scout AI is if you all do not have a personal brochure, you know, you can put it in Scout AI, some things, give it a bunch of things about what it is that you do, or if you have a website that's already built out that you're happy with, you can take the link, like if you're happy with the content that's on it, you can take the link for that website and stick it in there and say, I need to create a personal brochure for my company. Can you read this website and pull it? And it can start generating the content where all you have to do is go into something like Canva and pick a brochure template and get your design made.
Mhm.
So what questions do you have for me? Let's see if I checked. Hold on. I've not paid attention to chat. I'm so sorry, guys. Can you post the link to this chat? Jean, what do you mean by can you post the link to this chat? Are you talking about the,
This was about whenever we were going over this stuff for Flow, that whole process that you did, and you were gonna send her a link
I'm sorry, for which one?
The one that you did for
for
What you-
Flow or on the.
For the MLS?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I sure will. Yes.
Awesome.
We did not get the recording for last week either. So can
Yeah.
you,
We haven't got any of them.
we got 1 and 2,
Oh, maybe we get, okay.
but
Yeah. Last week.
can we get the recording for 3 and then today's?
Yes. So we need last week's session and this one. Then who said that they didn't get any of them?
Well, I guess we did get more than I
He's-
thought.
He's been
Are you
out.
sure?
So.
Do you need for us to, do you even have Christina resend them to you?
Yeah. That would
We
be
have them all in the, so we have them all in the same playlist. So when we put these other two up, we'll just send the playlist back out. So if you're missing any, you'll have it.
Perfect.
Okay. And then,
Tracy, I have a question.
yes.
We are pioneers. We signed up first with you guys. What was our deal? And is there a future cost, like to stay on Landverse?
No,
No.
your deal for Founders Access, and you won't pay $196.
Founders access,
That's
correct?
lifetime.
Lifetime.
No renewal. So when everyone else pays renewals, you all do not. When prices go up, you all are just good. You're just coast on through. So that's your deal.
Yes,
That was
that's
an
awesome.
exchange. That was an exchange for you all giving feedback, and I would love it, love it, love it if you all would share your experience, or if you would give a testimonial for your experience with this. That would just make my life. But there's no additional charges for anything when it comes
I
to
re-
staying in Landverse.
I requested that National Land Conference have you back again next year in San Antonio.
All
Thank you,
right,
Flo.
thank you.
Thank
San
you.
Antonio sounds fun too. I've heard only good things about that, so I'm ready. Some good Texas food. Yeah.
Again, about the food.
I know, I can't help myself.
All right. Mindy, you gave me your content. Let's see. your contact.
Oh, I actually gave it to
Awesome.
everyone because I
Okay.
didn't know if we could have a little group here just for support.
Ye- Yes, so we are starting a group. Each one, of we had hoped to have that ready for you all for this week, but we will send you all access to that. And that would be great for you all to go in and ask questions, support each other on it, share things. And hopefully even build out a referral network because each of you are in different locations. So it would be good if you all could do that too.
Yeah, this is cool because I have met Flo before, I think at a national land conference, and I've met Jean before and maybe a couple of others, but this is just incredible, the network we created here the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
And thank you all for being a part of this. You all have been awesome. You all inspire us. That you all would make sure that you show up and, even for the ones who will watch this later that always ask us, that can't be here, that always ask us, or hey, can you make sure I get that video? It means a lot that you all get it, that this is where it's going. And that you all are innovators and are ready to take this to an entirely new level. So I'm excited about it. You'll inspire us and make us feel like it was worth it to create it. So.
All right. Well, folks, thank you so much. This we never say goodbye, just see you later. All right. And it
Oh,
was
wait,
been a
Rodney,
pleasure.
I'm so sorry. I
guys.
missed your hand.
Oh, what'd you say, Rodney?
Thank you.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can hear
Hey, I
you.
got just a general question, real quick. Like, I struggle with all, like, you're gonna send a URL link over, and like we just get, it seems like we have another link and then another link. How do you separate, like, going, like you said, put it in Google Drives, but with link after link after link, what's the best protocol to, like, store, you know, just store links, or I don't know if I'm saying it right, just starting over freshly. Not using bad habits to, like, the habits we've used in the past to, just like, if we're going to a listing, we build a link and then it doesn't come through. 4 months later, it comes through, starting again on that. What's the best protocol of keeping all that and saving all that?
You talking about inside of ChatGPT?
Yeah, just in general, like everything.
Yeah, usually what I do is I got two things that I go to all the time, and that's either Google Sheets or Google Documents, right? And the cool thing about them is that every time, like, I do a lot of research, and I'm always things that I really want to keep, I just put it in a Google Sheet and just put a link there and then put a little text next to it that says, hey, this is about this. And so that's one way. Or I'll put it in a Google document. And every time I open up, that Google document is always close there. So any kind of ideas or any kind of links that I want to save, I just put it right there because it always just adds to it and it never changes. So whenever I go to my Google Docs, and if I want to find it, I'll just say important stuff, just give it a name like important stuff or my research or my whatever it is, just so you can go through and look at it without having to look everywhere. And I do that with Google Sheets as well.
So do you think these links will ever be broken? Like, if the new 5.0 comes out, is that gonna change anything, or?
Well, when it comes to ChatGPT, because of just the nature of it, I very strongly doubt it. But what I always do as a backup is if I have a really important set of information that came out, like say a persona or something, I always put that onto a Google Doc.
I am on mute.
Because
Okay.
you just never know. I trust Google more because it's been around forever and Google Docs never left me. So I just, if I got really important information that I need to keep about clients or about a persona or like a social media thing that I've put together, I'll put it into a Google Doc. And that way I'm not digging through ChatGPT either. And the cool thing about ChatGPT, it's got a search bar in there now. So if you're looking up something and you want to say, you remember like Facebook Marketplace was in the chat when you were talking to it, then you just type in Facebook Marketplace and it's going to pull up all the things that had that, right? So that's a really cool thing that they have now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. You're going to do great, man. You guys are doing great already just by showing up for this call and paying attention and staying on. And I'm super excited to see what happens as you go forward with it. But just make it a habit to just start messing with it. If you're in the grocery store, say, hey, I'm trying to cook this thing. What do you think? Just getting your brain used to interacting with it is going to be the strongest thing you can do. Even with it, say, I don't know how do I interact with you. Can you tell me something or ask me some questions about myself so you can so I can know better, so you'll know better how to serve me or whatever. But as long as you're talking to it, you're gonna be fine, and you'll just grow and get stronger and better and better. And right, if you don't know what to do, just go through some of those prompts. Go through some of those prompts in the prompt book. Look at that book and say, then you can start to know how to talk to it in a structural way. If you want to do it by the book, literally download the book, go on Amazon. I think it's on Amazon now. You can order it on Amazon if you want a hard copy, just to lay there and just start reading through the stuff. And then let it get into your brain. And because you're touching it and using it, that's what's going to make you good at it.
And another thing that's really cool is that you all can do, if you find you have some content that's really important, say you got your personas, right? And you've got it saved in the project or in your Google Docs, you can also start an old school binder, you know, because like when you all do team meetings or if you need to just, I need to get away for a weekend and refocus on my business, well, you've got it all sitting right there in your binder too, that you can use that for.
And there's one more guaranteed way. This is from just a person who's all over the place a lot of times. You get a phone, you get your phone, just take a picture of it because it'll always be in your camera roll. And you can always go back and look. I do that with my driver's license or different things. that
Always come,
happen.
take a picture.
Yeah, take a picture of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
You'll
got like-
always your phone. You're never gonna leave your phone. It's always gonna be on you. And you'll be so glad you did, especially if you're a note taker. Like if you write down a lot of notes and stuff, don't trust it. That's gonna be around, or that piece of paper may get lost. So take a picture of it, and now you know. And then after a year, you can get rid of it. Right?
Yeah, I
But-
have like 40,000 pictures on my phone, and then I use Evernote. I don't know if you guys use that,
Oh yeah.
and I love that. But is any of these AI software companies, are any of them publicly traded? Or
Oh goodness.
yeah.
Yeah. They're the biggest, hottest thing right now. The billionaires, one person companies are becoming billionaires now. That's the first time in history. And right now, the growth is exponential. If you're investing instead of an index fund, I always recommend, I'm not an investment counselor or whatever, but index towards AI companies because they're the fastest growing thing right now. And all that wealth is going to be made within the next 5 years. That's going to be made in AI. It's going to be made by people that are leveraging the tools, that are starting the companies, that are doing all these things. It's just unreal evaluations. And if you ever want to go fast, hook on something that's going really fast and go there. And just by your using AI, you're going to be going fast with that train. Just by you're making it a habit to use it for different things, you're going to be ahead of the curve and you're going to move faster. And money loves speed. So yeah, it's definitely publicly traded, awesome, huge, huge revenue generators.
All right, guys, we have stayed on way past the time. You all have been awesome. Thank you for all the time that you all spent with us. I did put our contact in here at Real Edge Labs so that you all can find us if you need us. Meanwhile, we'll be in touch with the final sessions. And if you're interested in doing a one-on-one with us, reach out to us. And then last but not least, we'll have the new training schedule. And we do want to hear about you all's results. As you all do
Yeah.
stuff, feel free to share it. We would
Yes.
love to see what you all are creating and what you do and hear how you guys are rocking it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thank you again for everything. Thank you for the staying on long, and we'll see you all soon.
Yes, indeed. We've
Okay.
enjoyed every bit of it. Talk to you later, guys.
Bye.